I'm Jack Arute back here in Austin. These come from behind victories by the Texas Longhorns are enough to make a coaching staff want to take up selling cars. So what did Mack Brown do this week? Well, after praising his players for their performance, he got on his coaches and his players. He said, we're going to change things up. We need a better performance. He came up with several keys to victory. They included protecting better, kicking better, getting takeaways. We'll explain that a little bit later. Being aggressive, and the term that we heard at halftime of the Nebraska game, Ron, have fun.
Well, we'll see if the Longhorns can do that. But if they put everything off, it's kind of like studying for a test and you wait till the night before, then they're not going to have as much fun because Texas Tech's not going to wait. Here is the weather, 84 degrees, humidity only 49%. Wind might be a bit of a factor at 12. It's out of the southeast, and the forecast is for partly cloudy. I think about a 10% chance of rain. Coach Mike Leach, well, he has, as Ed said in the open, you talk about consistency. His passing game is not good. It's real good every year.
Yeah, and Mack Brown talks a lot about Texas Tech. Mack Brown, the other day we were talking to him, said every time you look at Texas Tech, it's basically the same system, and they just start plugging guys in there. And from meeting with him the other day, and Jack just describing what he was like this week, he kind of knew he was very difficult on his team, and he hung around a little bit and said, you know, I need to get away from these guys a little bit. I've been on them pretty hard.
Well, sometimes a hard love is good. Texas has won the toss. They have deferred. Hunter Lawrence will kick it off, and this one is going to go out of the back of the end zone. So now, let's take a look at the Texas Tech starting offense presented by Best Buy. And here is the Tech women's head basketball coach. Here's Christy Curry. Christy?
Quarterback Graham Harrell is the nation's leading passer and directs one of the country's most prolific offenses. The tandem of Michael Crabtree and Danny Amendola rank among the top 5 nationally. Line in college football protects the offensive attack. Tackle Ryland Reed anchors the line, which is allowing 1 sack every 41 pass attempts.
Christy, thanks so much. We wish you nothing but the very best out of the South Plains with your women's basketball team this year. She also will introduce the defense in just a moment. First play from scrimmage. Graham Harrell, short pass, and it's complete right over the middle at the 24. And now let's take a look at the Texas defensive starters. Here is defensive end Brian Arakpo.
Thanks, Ron. Starting with our defensive line, we have Big Frank Oakham and Derek Lokis. Making my job a whole lot easier coming off that edge. And with the linebackers, we have our Brahma Bull himself, Rashad Bobino, our playmaker. And back in the secondary, we have my boy, Ryan Palmer, the spark plug for the defensive back.
Brian Arakpo. Nice job, big fella. Second down at about 5, and they go with a running play with Kobe Lewis. And Kobe Lewis will take it short of the first down around the 28-yard line. Robert Killebrew making the tackle for the Longhorns.
Well, early on we saw exactly what Mack Brown told us that Texas had to do against this Texas Tech offense. They're going to get their throws, and you just have to make the tackle right away. And it's those draw plays and the screens that Mack Brown was more concerned about, because those are basically the run game for Texas Tech. Those are the ones they have to stop.
Aaron Crawford, number 32, a freshman right out of high school, Ridgeway High School in Memphis, Tennessee, sets in the backfield with quarterback Harrell. Third down and 2, pressure up the middle, swings it out to that man, Crawford, and Crawford is going to be stopped for a loss, and it's going to be punting time into a pretty stiff win for the Red Raiders.
You know, one of the things that they worked really hard, Dwayne Aquina, the co-defensive coordinator with Larry McDuff, last week, Texas was awful in the open field in tackling against Oklahoma State. They figured that they gave up 157 yards of offense after missed tackles. Well, early on, you can see that Mack Brown got the point across to his defensive coordinator and the defense that they better be better in the open field this week.
LaCour stands by to punt it away. Quan Cosby, the Greek man. And it was Derry who made that tackle. This a good kick into the wind. Kick will turn over, breaks 1 tackle. And here comes a flag from down deep, and now a second one. 41 yards on the kick and 7 on the return, and it was Austin Burns making the tackle for the Red Raiders. Randy Crystal, our referee today. Randy, a longtime friend, and I think absolutely, he and John Byatt were the two best referees in this conference.
Number 2. Be a 10-yard penalty, 1st and 10.
So Texas will back it up.
Right at the top of your screen, absolutely, that's Sergio Kendall. Boy, I mean, how many times do you go through?
How many times you go through the drill and you can't hit him in the back, guys?
If you see a name other than Texas Tech, if it's an individual name, back off. Boy, at any level of football, players just never seem to get that, do they?
Well, Jamal Charles is the tailback, and Colt McCoy comes out for his first snap. And it's a quick pass right out in the flat. Cosby breaks a tackle close to the first down. Now let's take a look at the Texas starting offense presented by Best Buy. Here's receiver Quan Cosby.
Leading the Longhorn offense, quarterback Colt McCoy, our second leading rusher, but of course I'd much rather him pass the ball. And him handing the ball off to our leading rusher, running back Jamal Charles, who's definitely the last couple of weeks has carried us for his rushing. And the guy who clears away for him, do-it-all Chris Hall, who can pretty much play any position on the line.
Okay, Quan, nice job by you and the man he was just talking about. Jamal Charles gets the carry, slashes off the right side. Linebacker Brian Duncan makes the stop for the Texas Tech Red Raiders. And Texas with no huddle and right back to the line of scrimmage. So the first down they record, and the ball rests at their own 41. Charles again, delay block. He's going to have 5 yards. And let's take a look at the Texas Tech defensive starters. Here once again, Texas Tech women's head basketball coach. Here's Christy Curry. Christy?
The defense may be young, but it has been formidable in Big 12 action behind the play of sophomore Rajon Henley and true freshman Kobe Whitlock. Freshman Brian Duncan is one of the team leaders in tackles, while sophomore Jamar Wall and junior Darcel McBath lead the Red Raiders' 9th-ranked pass defense.
Christy, thanks again. And again, we send that good wish to you and your women's basketball team. Jamal Charles within one person of breaking another long run. Let's take a look at the city X Factor.
Well, no real mystery about what needs to happen in this game for Texas Tech. They need to leave those safeties back and take proper angles, and you just saw why. When Jamal Charles, one of the fastest players in all of college football, breaks free, you better have a good angle. And for Texas, in the first 3 quarters, let's not forget about Jamal Charles if you're a Longhorn, and it looks like they're not.
Charles weaving his way. That's 4 carries for him. On 3 carries, he already had 22 yards.
Unbelievable numbers, and you know it's easy to forget because of the big 2 games that he had against Nebraska and Oklahoma State, but that middle of the season didn't play much, and a lot of that had to do with ball security. He had a huge fumble against Oklahoma down deep in Oklahoma territory, had a couple of turnovers against Central Florida in a much tougher game on the road than suspected, and they let Vondrell McGee start taking some snaps, but he's back and his ball security is much better.
Colt McCoy will hold on to the football, and I believe he's going to have the first down. Now being thrown down, and Randy Crystal has just thrown a flag for personal foul against Texas Tech. Boy, that is tough. I think he had the first down anyway.
After the play, personal foul, number 7, be a 15-yard penalty, first down.
That is McBath. And after the play is over, you'll see that he doesn't stop and then throws the quarterback down. And I know Randy Crystal, as I said, he's a longtime personal friend. Those are the kind of things he will not put up with.
No, he's one of the best at managing the game in college football, and that's the right call there. We saw a game last week where things started to get a little ugly with Oklahoma and Texas A&M, and didn't feel like the officials did a good enough job of getting control of it. And right now, I think that's a good call early to send a message that they're not going to stand for that type of stuff.
This time, Texas goes with an alignment of 2 tight ends and 2 wide receivers. Tech comes up to play bump on the wide receivers. Play action, and he's got a man open, and he throws to him back of the end zone. I don't know if he's inbounds or not. Signal is touchdown to Jordan Shipley. Colt was almost too late in delivering this ball because Shipley was open, and he had to wait.
Let's see if he's got it. No, I don't think that's a catch. If they review this, I think it's coming back. Look to me.
This is the heel-toe heel thing we have talked so much about this year.
Yeah, look to me like his heel came down out of bounds. I don't think this is going to stand. And Randy Crystal is already coming back to midfield to get to the headsets. I don't believe this was a touchdown. But what a great throw by McCoy. He had to wait that long because of the coverage of Jamar Wall and Darcel McBath. He had to wait for Shipley to get in behind them and just waited just a tick too long.
Well, plus the fact, and you heard us talk about it last week if you were watching that game, if the heel, I mean, the toe comes down right there, and his heel, even though he has secured the football with the toe in, if the heel would have come down out of bounds, it is no catch.
The whole foot has to come in is what the rule specifically states. Now, we've seen it judged a couple of different ways, but I think, to me, this is not a catch. This has got to come back.
A call that will happen virtually every time.
Play stand.
They're going to give him a touchdown.
I don't think that was a touchdown. It really looked to me like the heel of Shipley came down out of bounds, and we've seen that. This is the third time we've seen this, and it looked to me like that heel was out of bounds.
So Bailey will attempt the extra point, trying to make it 7-0 Longhorns as they score in the 4 minutes and 45 seconds of this opening quarter. Bailey's kick is right down the middle. So Mack Brown really got on his coaches and his players this year, and the production he got off the opening drive was a touchdown. Well, good look at Jordan Shipley. He has had his problems with injuries during his career here at Texas, but once he has become healthy, the young man out of Burnett, Texas, who, by the way, McGee was his quarterback in high school down at Texas A&M. They played together.
And don't discount the fact that Jordan Shipley and Colt McCoy are roommates.
Yeah.
And think about the time, you've got the 20-hour rule in college football. How much time do you think those two fellas sit around their apartment watching film and talking about timing? Was it a touchdown or not? I don't care. It was a great throw and a timing throw by Colt McCoy to Shipley.
Lawrence with the kickoff, and it's going to be taken by Lewis. And Lewis will take it all the way out of the 35 to the 37. And let's go to
guys. I've never seen that before.
Well, Leach has a very close relationship. He coaches the quarterback, so I'm sure they've had a couple of bicker sessions before.
First down from the 37. Harrell, short pass again, and a flag goes down, and again it is Derry. Scott Derry, the linebacker, who is right there to make the tackle. And let's check that marker that came in after the play had already started. Going to be holding against Texas Tech.
15-yard penalty, first down.
Marlon Wynn, a sophomore out of Waxahachie, Texas.
Well, it's late in the season for Texas, and they get a bye week after this game. They've got a bunch of guys hurt. Well, it's not even close. Arakpo absolutely gets tackled there by Wynn. But this defense for Texas is short quite a few guys, and Texas Tech cannot continue to go 3 and out. They've got to start wearing them out a little bit.
Harrell deep over the middle, got him in there, complete. 45, that's Crabtree, and he'll take it over midfield. It'll be first down. 28 yards in the pass play to Michael Crabtree.
Well, Texas had started building a lot of depth early in the season, able to play some second and third string guys, but Eddie Jones, a very explosive defensive end, is out. Drew Kelson, unfortunately a senior, not able to play in his last game as a safety hybrid linebacker. Norton and Kendall, they're both up and down whether they're going to be able to go. And Brandon Foster, who's so key, hurt his chest last week. They said he's okay, but it was a really bad bruise. Hopefully for Texas, it doesn't take a shot on that chest.
Walker in front. This is Grant Walker, and this is close to another first down. In fact, where they have marked it, it is going to be a first down at the 35. Tackled by Griffin.
Well, you take a look at Graham Harrell, all the great quarterbacks around college football this year. Right on down the line. First. Third in passing efficiency. 73.4% completion percentage coming into today. The Texas Tech record by Cliff Kingsbury, 69%, is in jeopardy.
Harrell, good protection. Again, short pass. Amendola. You know, Crabtree gets a lot of credit. But to me, Danny Amendola, the senior out of the Woodlands, Texas, just north of Houston, to me is an absolute, just a huge guy in this offense. Boy, he's all hard. He's not real big. And he catches the football wherever it is.
And early in the year, everybody didn't know who Michael Crabtree was, so they didn't know that they needed to roll coverage. And as soon as everybody started putting two guys on the side of Crabtree, it opened everything up for Amendola.
It's a good point. Second down and short. There is a screen to Crawford back into the boundary, and he's close. And in fact, with the second effort, the young man may have picked up the first down when Robert Killebrew came over to make the tackle. And according to where the yellow line is, he will have it by a full length of the football.
Well, at Texas Tech, this is one of their staples, and they will get your linebackers to run. We just showed you all of those injuries. Kendall and Norton banged up, don't know how much they can play. And these types of plays really start to wear out your linebackers, because those are the guys who have to run the farthest to get out there. They're your inside-out pursuit. So depth may become an issue in that second line for Texas.
Harrell is perfect. 6 of 6, 51 yards. And the Texas 25, Aaron Crawford straight ahead. He'll go for a couple. All this is with the running game, for those people from Tech saying, you know, why do you run a nothing play like that? The nothing play is what the head coach is sending to the defense. Come on, creep up a little bit so we can throw it over your head.
Yeah, right now the Texas safeties, whoever has deep coverage, is playing at 12, 13, 14 yards. I don't think they're going to come off of that. For Texas, the idea is if we bring pressure, bring it with somebody deep. Right now, though, they're starting to walk up a little bit.
Yeah, he's walking up like he might come with a safety blitz. Stays at home. Pass over the middle is caught and tackled immediately is Britton. Making the tackle, number 7, Dion Beasley, a sophomore. He's at a West Orange start. That also a part of the Golden Triangle down in the southeastern portion of the state of Texas.
And if you're at 3rd and short, and talking to the coaches from Texas, they always think that Texas Tech would go for it on 4th. So wouldn't be surprised if this is some kind of throw. Looks like you may have one-on-one coverage down here.
They'll direct snap to Crawford, and Crawford is going to be hit and stopped before he picks up the first down. In fact, he's going to lose a couple of yards on the play. Eric Jackson is the man who made the decisive hit to deny him the first.
And here is where Mike Leach will always go. What an exit. You know, that whole play was broken up by Robert Killebrew. Good recognition. And Leach, who thought about it, decided to go ahead and kick it. You know, he was a little upset at himself at how many times he went for it against Missouri. They went for it 7 times and only got it 3. So I think this is one of those. I don't want to miss another one and not get points.
Alex Trelika to attempt a 35-yard field goal out of the hold of Danny Amendola. He got it. Boy, that thing was hooking quickly, but it didn't matter. It got through there, and Tech is on the board. So with 6:56 left to play in the opening quarter, our new score is Texas 7 and Texas. Good look at the state capital of the state of Texas, right here in Austin. Ron Franklin and Cunningham Jackaroot coming to you from Darrell K. Royal Stadium, Memorial Stadium, I should say. Alex Trelika, now 44 career field goals made. That is a Texas Tech record.
Was tied with Bill Adams coming into the game. He also has a great record going on PATs. He's hit 222 consecutive PATs, an NCAA record. Every time he kicks one, he gets that record longer.
Let me tell you something. The way the wind blows out at his school, for him to have that many field goals is really an accomplishment. This is Quan Cosby on the return. Wow, he really gets tagged. And let's check it. Sylvester Cruz, I tell you, he's making it tough on those people that want to get rid of him down at Mississippi State.
I don't think he can now.
Jamal Charles straight ahead with the run, and it's going to be 10.5 yards on the carry as Garcia makes the tackle. And let's go down to
hand off rather than throw.
Jack, you're right. Last week, the first pass that he threw at Oklahoma State went right over the head of his intended receiver, and the defensive back just walked into the end zone, and Texas was down 14-0 at the drop of a hat.
The other thing that they did, which I found very interesting, even though it was senior day and all the captains were seniors, they let Colt McCoy go out for the coin toss. He is from West Texas. His family and friends are all Texas Tech folk.
Yeah, they're Red Raiders.
And they wanted him to get out there and get some of that energy out of his body to calm down. And he knows that he presses sometimes early in the game. And exact same thing Vince Young did early in his career. It's hard to solve that.
I think another case with Colt, he's trying to do too much, wants to help this team so much. As Cosby makes the reception, will pick up about 7 yards, and that will move the sticks for the Texas Longhorns. When you look at the short passing game that they're using, much akin to what Texas Tech is doing, but particularly along and just beyond the line of scrimmage, it's the same thing as a run almost, a pitch.
And I think what Greg Davis, the offensive coordinator, doing is fitting in right with what Jack was just talking about. Make it easy for him. Those are just very easy throws over to Cosby and Jones. Don't make him read too much, because sometimes he reads the defense too fast early in the game. He's got to get the rhythm down.
Draw play, Charles, and he's going to be stopped at the 50-yard line. Marlon Williams from his linebacking spot. Marlon's a sophomore from Pflugerville, which is just in the northern reaches of Austin here, one of the bedroom communities, if you will.
And it looks like Tony Hills, the left tackle, is down.
One of the seniors,
and
making
Dallas,
his last appearance.
Yeah. And Dallas Griffin, another senior who blew out his ACL last week against Oklahoma State, is going to have surgery. And so the troops are very thin. And listen, this offensive line was struggling early in the season with blitz pickup, things like that, and now depth becoming a concern.
Well, I'll tell you what, Mack Brown is walking out. They have called, they were on the field, they have called for an air cast, and immediately, all of a sudden, they are taking, as you see, it looked like one of his teammates rolled up on the back of his leg, and the cart is already out there to get Tony Hills off the field. This is indeed an unfortunate situation for a kid playing his last home game. We'll take a break. Talk back, and big offensive tackle Tony Hills out of Alief Elsik. His leg in an air cast is waving to the crowd. He's a senior. The difficult thing for this, Tony has been through more than his share of pain. He was absolutely one of the best tight ends, if not the best, coming out of high school, and his knee became just really a problem. So after sitting out for an entire year, they moved him inside to tackle, and the scouts love him, and it looks as though they've made him a lot of money. And now this. Let's just hope that the break is not to an extent that it, would preclude him from continuing to have success on the football field. Nice young guy. So the changes, Chris Hall goes from center to left tackle, and Buck Burnett comes in at center. And Jamal Charles breaks it out on the run, and he'll take it to the Texas Tech 40-yard line as Jamar Wall is there to make the tackle.
Well, with Buck Burnett in there at center, he's a freshman. And it's a really nice ISO play. They make it pretty easy, and they open up the middle. Nice view, nice vision by Jamal Charles. One of the things that the coaches were pushing on him was to just get into the hole. And Burnett, although a freshman, a very talented young man and very bright. And that's why they're able to put him at center. He's going to make the calls, and Chris Hall moves out to that left tackle spot.
And I will tell you, if there are mistakes on this offensive line, if you're a Texas fan, as Charles bolts his way for a couple, now maybe 3, don't get upset, because they're all redshirt freshmen or true freshmen. Jack Arute, let's go. The 2 seniors on the offensive line are gone. Griffin injured his knee last week, gone for the year, and Tony Hills today with a broken leg. And so everybody else has either got sophomore, redshirt freshman, or out of high school freshman. Obanaya, just in the ball game, drops the pass, and it's going to be 3rd down, Texas.
And you're a little hamstrung right now if you're Greg Davis. That's a 3-step get the ball out, because with that many young guys up front, even though some of them are very talented, you've got to expect Ruffin McNeil, the defensive coordinator on the other side, may try to confuse them and bring a blitz. And now you're sitting here at 3rd and medium, we'll call it, not quite long, where I don't know that you want to do a 5 or 7 step drop because this young offensive line may get your quarterback hit.
That's the reason I'm saying if you're a Texas fan, don't get upset at any mistakes because these are still babes. Now they'll be really good next year because they're going to get their baptism totally under fire. McCoy dumps it over the middle, complete at the 30-yard line. Nate Jones breaking away from the tackler, and it's good for 10 yards.
Pretty good job by the front guys for Texas. There was no blitz, but there was a stunt inside. And they did a nice job of staying manned up on that protection. Sometimes when there's the tackle stunt inside, you try to pass that off. But with young guys, sometimes you just say lock up and run with them. Don't try to be perfect and pass everything off. And McCoy did a nice job stepping up.
Tech showing blitz at the bottom of your screen as they walk a safety up to the line of scrimmage. They come with him. Charles straight ahead. And Charles, this is where he gets you in trouble. If you're going to gamble too much and he breaks the first wave, then there's no one who can catch him.
Yeah, McBath right at the last minute backed out. It did look like they were going to bring a blitz. And McBath backed out right at the last second, right there in the middle of your screen. And a nice job in the open field of tackling him. You know, the one thing that I think you can overlook with Charles because he is so fast is he is also very shifty. A lot of guys with that straight line speed, you don't expect them to have the change of direction. And this guy is the total package as a running back.
Charles again runs into his own blocker, spins around. He's at the 5 and finally being stopped at the 3-yard line. Marlon Williams on the tackle. It'll be 1st and goal, Longhorns.
Well, we're talking about all the young guys up front. Buck Burnett has a very difficult block. He's going to have to reach all the way over to the defensive tackle. He does a pretty good job. Gets a little bit of help from the guard, but does a nice job working basically one-on-one with Richard Jones, and that's exactly what the running back runs off of. Nice job by the freshman.
Charles now 82 yards on 11 carries. Has the ball, heads for the left side, takes it down to the 1. And does not get in. The ball looked as though the ice cream on the cone was about to pop there as he hit the ground. Tackled by McBath, who has had a very good first quarter.
Well, 4-time All-American. He won the Big 12 outdoor 100 meter as a freshman with 10.23. And the Texas Tech coaches say it's so unusual, but he started playing football first, then went to track, and that's why he's so good as a running back. He's not afraid of the contact.
Derek Loki, the defensive tackle, comes in at fullback, leading away for Vontrell McGee, and he's not going to get into the end zone. It's going to be 3rd down and goal. Now, what is happening in this drive right here is the fact that Texas is going to run out this entire first quarter, and if they get a touchdown, whether it's 3rd down or 4th, they really don't care because they're keeping the Tech offense off.
And I think this has everything to do with the renewed confidence in Jamaal Charles. You know, there was a lot of talk about ball security and him being hurt. Now Vontrell McGee, of course, their short yardage back is in, but that's really helped to get that confidence.
And this is the 13th play of this drive. Started back at the 25-yard line. Left side, touchdown, Texas. Vontrell McGee, redshirt freshman out of Longview.
Well, we thought we were going to see a lot of Jamaal Charles in the first 3 quarters versus just the 4th quarter, which has kind of been his quarter that he blows up at 85 yards rushing so far with 1 minute and 2 left in the first quarter.
Is that amazing? In the first quarter,
that was the plan.
At this rate, he's going to be at 250 yards or very close. Ryan Bailey to attempt the extra point and got it right down the middle. Let's take a timeout. 62 seconds left in the opening quarter. The new score, Longhorns 14. Here's the kick. And with the wind, this one's going to go about 6 yards deep. Okay, John, it is. That has not been a good month for him. Kobe Lewis and Aaron Crawford, the 2 setbacks, standing outside of Graham Harrell. Harrell right over the middle. Amendola has it complete and is tackled immediately. Monday night half on that last one. So we'll call it second down and a long 2 for the Red Raiders. Texas shifting on defense after the blocking assignments had been called out for the center. Pass right over the middle. Ball is loose. It's recovered by Texas. Nope. Line judge is right there. He saw it better than anybody, and he said, no, the man is down, no fumble. Harrell is now 9 of 9 throwing in this first quarter, which has 8 seconds left in it.
Yep, it looked to me that was a good call by the line judge. Good hitting, though, and that's exactly what Texas talked about. Their secondary linebackers, they're going to get their catches. The Red Raiders are going to get their catches, but so far tackling so much better this week than last week for the Longhorns.
Pass to Eric Morris, hit behind the line of scrimmage, and on first down it will be a loss of 4. Brandon Foster defensively, and we are at the end of the opening quarter here in Austin. So let's take a timeout. Being with the wind to his back of Graham Harrell, he can't have a better quarter than he did in the first because he was 10 of 10. Now make it 11 of 11. And anytime you get Crabtree coming across the middle on that inside screen, and before we go down to Jack Arute, there is a flag in the backfield, and it's going to be personal foul against Texas.
15-yard penalty, first down.
I would assume it was for roughing the passer. I think Loki is the man who will get him. Pass is thrown, and then he just yanked him down. And
bit of a flop, but you know, they were complaining about maybe McCoy had a bit of a flop earlier, but you know, you just can't touch them that long after it. They're not going to let you do it, and you've already seen that these officials have quick triggers on those flags, so you have to be aware of that. It's like knowing the strike zone.
When it comes to protecting players,
you should.
You're not going to tolerate it. So I think that has been established, and I'd be surprised if we see anything else the remainder of the afternoon. On first down, Harrell, play action, and in the flat, pass is complete, and that's to Crabtree, and he goes down immediately. And for Tech fans, because he has, since he has been there, according to the coaches, had an extremely good work ethic. First down, Red Raiders from the Texas 32. Again, short stuff. This one in the flat, and it's incomplete to Eric Morris.
You know, and it's kind of human nature for Michael Crabtree. He worked so hard last year. He was academically ineligible, so he had to redshirt. And worked so hard and was a product of, they do Thursday night football at Texas Tech where the red shirts get to live scrimmage 30 or 40 plays every Thursday, and he just went out and dominated every week and worked hard. But he probably did feel like things were coming a little easy and he could cruise. I give the coaches a lot of credit for putting the gas pedal back down on him.
I like that idea of Thursday night scrimmages for the people who don't get to participate. Second down, 3 wide receivers to the left at the bottom of your screen. Harrell, all the time in the world, and he throws this one complete to Britton, and Britton is going to be stopped at around the 15.5-yard line. It's a gain of 17. And Jack game is over. We will be able to get that report from the doctors. First and 10. Harrell, quick over the middle, short throw. Wow, what a hit after the catch. It was Morris who was the receiver and also the receiver of that huge hit by McElroy. And let's check it. Well, they got 76 laid on them last week, so they said, hey, you know, we can score the football, and boy, they really did. Then running play, man, another tough hit, this time on Crawford, and he'll be stopped after a gain of maybe 1. Again, it's McElroy who makes the tackle.
Very, very lively hitting today by Texas defensively. I think that Coach Brown's message, the curmudgeon Brown got through this week. They are finishing tackles. Last week, they were awful against Oklahoma State with missed tackles, and not much better the week before against Nebraska. This is a different group on defense for Texas, making Tech earn everything.
10th play started back at the 20-yard line. Third down. Harrell looks for the end zone. Got a man wide open, and it is Eric Morris who makes the catch for the Red Raider touchdown. Boy, great job of protection by that offensive front of the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Harrell could just stand back there and, you know, order the pizza, go ahead and start sipping on the soft drink, and didn't throw the pass.
Can't do much better if you're Eric Morris. And Graham Harrell read that perfectly. He saw that Morris was working one-on-one against Sergio Kendall, an outside linebacker. And they're going to review this, but from first look by us, it looked to me like Morris dragged those toes. Got the touchdown.
By the way, we have been told by the officials, and Randy Crystal, the referee.
That's where Morris's toe dragged as he went out. Looked like he had control of it, too. You've got to not only get it down.
Now, on the pass play that was caught by Texas for the touchdown, which we talked about, was it heel toe? Was that the situation, as this play has been ruled as called on the field? Jordan Shipley, we were told by Randy Crystal, Jack was told that it was considered dragging the toe, which is inbounds. And there is also a green line just beyond the end of the end zone. So what looks like when you run out of burnt orange, you're out of bounds. You got what, another 18 inches or even more. And that's the reason they figured that it was a toe drag and a touchdown. The reason that they called it that. Trelika to attempt the extra point for the Red Raiders. And he's got it. So we'll take a timeout. 12:28 left in this three times all-conference. That's Steve Hatchell of the College Football Hall of Fame presenting him with the plaque. And also out there on the field with him at the time was his defensive coordinator, David McWilliams, who also became head coach here at Texas for a time. Here are some of his accomplishments. And the thing that jumped out at us, how good do you think the Texas defense was, forcing 114 punts in his career?
That'd be a tough one to break.
Yeah.
That's a ton of punt returns.
Yep, this kick is going to go out of the back of the end zone. And so I teased just before we went to break, a friend of mine coming down here with us. Actually, it's my broadcast partner.
Because you guys got to follow 22 guys out here. We get to watch them in underwear.
I'll tell you what, after this play right here, as they go with a little quick pitch to Jamal Charles, new wrinkle. Maintained his balance. He's going to have about 7 yards on the play. Parker tripped him up. Last year, friend, I've tried to count in my mind. What did we have? 5 overtime games at least, and we had, what, 6 or 7 buzzer beaters also. Doesn't get any better than what we had last year.
Well, we're going to miss A.C. Long,
Yeah,
Kevin
A.C.
Durant.
Long.
But there's always stars that come in. Yeah, I was thinking of Crabtree. This is a kid from Dallas Carter who was going to play basketball as well for Coach Knight. But I think Coach Knight has given up on that, Ed, the way he's played out in the field.
No, we talked to him when we were up in Lubbock, and he said, you know, I'd love to have him, but probably better on the football field right now for the Red Raiders.
And Crabtree also gave an opinion as good heavens, look at the move, and he may be gone. There was an angle on him, and Charles will be knocked out of bounds by McBath, but that is a big gainer. And what do we got, Big E? It's going to be a gain of 35 yards from scrimmage.
You know, I wanted to ask you about, college football, when you look at a guy like Jamal Charles and you talk about Crabtree, these guys have to stay in school for 3 years before they're eligible to go pro. That is not the case in college basketball. Just want to see your opinion on what should be done. Is that the right rule, or should they change that?
Well, I think it was a great rule for college basketball. Obviously, when you look at these guys, I was on the field, Ed, earlier, and these guys are so big and physical down here. It'd be hard for a freshman really to make an impact in the NFL.
Flag from deep downfield. That's going to be a hold called by the back judge.
You know, you have to come in and play 1 year of college basketball before you go. Do you think it should be longer, or? Well,
I wish it could be longer, but, 1 is a good starting point. We're going to see a guy this year, Michael Beasley at Kansas State, who may very well be a one-and-done guy. Bill Self's done a good job of keeping very good players, Ron, in his program for a while.
Yeah, he has. And, of course, with what happened.
Personal foul, face mask, number 46.
So it's not going to be hold. It's going to be a personal foul, 15-yarder against the Red Raiders. Yeah, the situation here with Kevin Durant, I think it was a foregone that it was going to be 1 year and out for him. But, if it all was said and done, Kevin hinted to both of us at the end of last year, if he had not been shoved out the door by his parents, he wanted to stay another year. He was loving college.
And how could you not love an atmosphere like this, or during the winter we see great atmosphere? This is incredible today, and it's a great college experience for any of these guys.
Vontrell McGee in the ballgame, giving Jamal Charles a spell and a rest. Well, here's a lineup, Fran. Now, we're into this already. Things have gotten underway. Here's a lineup for Monday evening. New Mexico State against number 11 Duke. Siena against Syracuse, Wisconsin Green Bay against Ohio State, and Youngstown State against UCLA. You know, one of the things that we've gotten a little bit of a laugh out of is the fact that Appalachian State knocked off Michigan in that first huge upset in football. Well, Garner Webb, just a few miles from there, as the running play goes down inside the 10-yard line. It'll be 3rd down and 3. They're just right down the street, literally, from Appalachian State, and they knock off top 20 ranked Kentucky. So is basketball going to be as wild and unpredictable as football has been this year?
Absolutely. In fact, football has surprised me, Ed, with all the different upsets, the way parity has really come into this game. And it's easier in basketball, as you know, Ron, because there's only 5 guys that really need to make a difference. But I think it's been a great college football season.
Let's see what happens on this play right here with a 3rd down and 3. McGee stays in the ball game at tailback. Tech trying to crowd the line of scrimmage, and they're going to stop the play short of the 1st down. So it'll be 4th down, and it looks as though, well, let's wait and see here.
I would suspect if it's 4th down that Mack Brown will go for it. He said that he wanted to be the more aggressive coach today. Mike Leach, known for aggression, and here comes the big people. I like the aggressive call. They told their players that they were going to be aggressive.
Loki comes in at fullback, the defensive lineman.
And I think this is the right decision by Mack Brown. He was hard on his team all week, and I think this is the right decision. If you're going to be hard on them and push them, you've got to reward them with good aggressive calls like this.
So let's see what happens here. They got about 1.5 yards. Ogbonnaya in the backfield, along with McGee and Loki as the blocker. That's Ogbonnaya in motion. They fake it to Bondrell McGee. Got a man wide open. And that is Ogbonnaya. And he will take it into the end zone. There is a flag down.
If they didn't stop the play, it's got to go against Texas Tech.
Defense, number 98. Finishes the flag. 1st down.
So they're not going to award the touchdown. They say 1st down with about 1 foot to go. Very quickly. Texas Tech and Texas going to be very competitive, aren't they?
Oh, absolutely. Bob Knight's got a young team. Texas has got DJ Augustine. We're going to have a lot of fun. You have a lot of football left, Ron and Ed, and it's been great being with you guys.
Hey, I look forward to it, my friend. Look forward to basketball season and visit with you. Fran Fraschilla.
Thank you.
So it's 1st down and goal, and again McGee in the ball game, straight ahead with the quarterback sneak. Quarterback Colt McCoy, touchdown Longhorns.
Well, coming into the game, you had to suspect that both offenses were going to be able to move up and down the field pretty easily. Both defenses have had their struggles this year, and a good answer by Texas.
You know, time of possession in this ball game, that another very long drive by Texas and really eating up a lot of the clock as Ryan Bailey comes in to attempt the extra point, and he gets it. So with 9:22 showing on the clock until halftime, our new score, the Longhorns 21. So we are back at Austin. The Longhorns answering the Texas Tech touchdown drive with one of their own. 8 plays, 80 yards, 3:06, and Charles 2 carries for 42. So what, he had 85 before that drive right there. So what's he got?
127 on 14 carries. His yards per carry in the last 3 games have just been gaudy. It's almost unreal, and we see the speed he gets in the secondary. I think Texas Tech, believe it or not, was doing okay at that 3rd level by not letting him break free. They're leaving someone there, but right now Mike Leach has got to solve his front 7.
Here comes the kick, and this is a pooch. It's a spinner, and it is going to be tipped and picked up by Texas. And the Red Raiders got caught napping. It was a short, high spinner, and number 1, Curtis Brown, caught the ball, which is very much alive after it's gone 10 yards, and took it on 1 hop. And it will be Texas football. A stolen possession by the Longhorns.
Well, you couldn't have kicked it in a better spot. And this is game planning by Texas, knowing where the hole in the return team is. And nobody from Texas Tech went to make a play on the ball.
Jack Arute, let's check with you. You were right there.
Oh, Ron, not only was I there when they practiced it on Thursday. Mack Brown wanted to mix things up a little bit. So he went through about a 45-minute segment with those sorts of trick plays. He turned to me and he said, Mike Leach isn't the only guy that can do it.
Play action by McCoy. Going to go long, and it's a little misinterpretation between Billy Pittman and quarterback Colt McCoy.
And the thing that's nice about that call is if you don't get it, Texas Tech gets the ball at about the 35. It's with the new rule, being that you're kicking off from your own 30, you're not really missing that much. They're probably going to get it out to the 25, 30, 35 anyway. So it's a good aggressive call that really is pretty safe.
And a spinner like that, one that's really moving quickly
and hits the ground and bounces.
If one of the up guys tries to catch it, a lot of times he's going to fumble it. Draw play, Charles. And Charles takes it for about an 8-yard gain at the 24. Darcel McBath making the tackle. You know, for those who have just joined us, the revamped offensive line has done really a sensational job. Tony Hills with a bad injury to his leg. Dallas Griffin injured a knee and is gone for the year in last week's game. And every one of these youngsters playing for the Texas Longhorns is either sophomore or freshman. Red shirt or right out of high school.
And Michael Huey in there at right guard is a true freshman. So a lot of youngsters.
Out of Kilgore, Texas. Big opening. Charles, Sir Charles. Touchdown again, 24 yards. Chris Parker, he turned him in a complete circle. Now the interesting thing, for people to walk in and see this scoreboard, if the extra point is good, all of a sudden it'll be an 18-point ball game. And to this offensive unit at Texas Tech, 18 points is absolutely nothing.
Not much.
Extra point attempt is up and good by Bailey. Ed, let's take another look at this first of all for the end zone.
Well, the offensive line has done an excellent job of getting Jamal Charles to that second and third level. Good job on the backside. There was a blitz coming that was picked up. And Charles eventually, if you continually get him into the secondary, it's not just the speed. He has great vision of the entire field, and he knows where the blocks are coming from. Unusual. A lot of people may think of him as a track guy. He truly isn't. He's a really good running back who sees everything.
And let's go down to...
Well, you know, and Greg Davis made a good point in talking the other day that guys with that much speed sometimes think they can take everyone to the house. They had to get him to be patient and take what was there.
Here's another high short kick, a spinner, and the tackle is being made at the 37. But Florida needs a win to stay alive, and he lives here.
And you made a great point right after that, right before the PAT, that 18 points to Graham Harrell in this bunch. It's not much. They stay right in their plan. You know, I don't think it would hurt them to let their defense have a little bit of a rest.
Yeah, you're right.
And, you know, maybe chip
this
away
drive
with
right here needs to be a long one.
A couple of draws, maybe some wide receiver screens. If the shot's there, you have to take it. But I would try to let that defense rest because the front seven for Texas Tech is worn out.
Harrell, 15 of 16, make it 16 of 17. As Aaron Crawford gets the shovel pass. He is really having a good day. Jack Arute.
Well,
you're next on the grocery list. Okay. Harrell. Little crossing route to Morris. Morris has the first down, plus about 6 more yards. Jack?
Well, at 5'8" and a generous 5'8", Eric Morris is the shortest player on the squad, and he has been subjected to a lot of nicknames. The one that is stuck is the Elf. So much so that for Halloween, he dressed as an elf. They kidded him and said that if they won the game after Halloween, that he would have to go to practice as an elf. Guess what? He did, complete with tights and the big ears under his helmet. The Elf lives.
Well, I'll tell you what, Eric Morris is from Shallowater, which is just south of Lubbock. And the story I love most about him is he would bring his film every week to the Tech coaching staff as the pass is thought by Eric Morris, he would bring it up and offer it and say, hey, keep an eye on me. Well, they already had a guy, same size, Danny Amendola. And it was like the coaches said, we don't need two guys that size. He has worked out wonderfully for him, though.
It was funny after UTEP got beat by Texas Tech, Mike Price walked up to Coach Leach and said, you know, number 5 Crabtree's really good, but it's those 2 rugrats that really killed us. And he was talking about Amendola and Morris. So I like Elf better than Rugrat, though.
Amendola is listed at 5'11", and as Jack said, for Morris, 5'7" is very generous. Well, the ball is fumbled. Now he picks it up and throws it complete, and that's Britton, and he'll take it inside the 25-yard line. Good for 18 yards and a Tech first down.
A lot of people want to know, everyone always talks about the numbers at Texas Tech and is it the system, but that was really good arm strength. As the ball's being kicked around by Graham Harrell, he just took his eye off it for a second, and he's got Brian Arakpo in his face, falls away from it, and finds Britton. It's pretty good arm strength with a 250-pound, 6'4" defensive end in your face.
First and 10, Red Raiders about to go under 6.5 minutes to play in this opening half, and he's going to go with one-on-one coverage. It is caught by Britton. Touchdown, Texas Tech. 22 yards. And I'm serious when I say this. If the coaches at Texas Tech are going to fuss about anything, they may have scored too quickly. That defense has got to come right back out on the field.
Well, excellent job by Britton going up, finding the ball, and got the ball inside the pylon. In college football, the ball does have to go over or inside the pylon. Mike Leach over there joking with his guys obviously had a positive effect, but you said it best. 18 points to this group.
It's nothing.
Really nothing.
I mean, you know, Jack backed up the point talking about that they're just not panicking, not concerned. Extra point attempt is right down the middle by Trelica. So 6:25 showing on the clock.
Time for Air Force to score again.
I started to say maybe a lot of time for Air Force to score more. Oh my, that is really something. Good look at Graham Harrell across the way. The young man is off to a sensational day again. We saw him against Texas A&M. He was about as hot as you could get. Then he kind of hit his, took a few lumps there, but the head coach said that was everybody's fault, not just his fault. This is Obanaya on the return, and he'll be stopped just short of the 30-yard line. Well, Texas, unless you go back to the BYU days.
Oh, that's a good call as well, yeah.
A little counter trade, ball is loose, and they scramble for it, and it looks as though Jamal Charles recovered his own fumble.
Well, the coaches talked about changing what they say to Jamal Charles. They don't want to say don't fumble anymore because they feel that sends a negative connotation. They talk about ball security, but this is exactly, boy, he just never put it away. Yeah. It looked like it may have hit one of his elbow may have hit one of the back of his offensive lineman, but he just never locked that away. And the scary part is that will start to get in your head a little bit, and you just got to be able to get it out.
But he still wound up with a gain of about 2.5 yards in the play. Clock runs about to hit 5.5 minutes left, and Charles fights his way just short of the 35. Jackaroo.
And of course, through the conversation, he said the word turnover about 5 times. Every time I looked at him, I said, don't you mean takeaway or ball control? They haven't gotten it out completely.
Third down, and Colt McCoy still looking, and he gets walloped and knocked out at the 25 by Chris Parker. First time that they've gotten to Colt McCoy today, but that was not the fault of the offensive line. He thought he was going to run and then realized Tech was much quicker defensively out there on him.
And give a lot of credit to Ruffin McNeil, the interim defensive coordinator that Mike Leach replaced Lyle Setensich after Oklahoma State for a change in attitude. And his defense was getting pounded early in this game by Jamal Charles. That time played much more aggressively up front.
There's Ruffin right there. First punt for Texas this afternoon. Justin Moore is the man who will handle the chores. He is kicking into a pretty stiff breeze. And here's the boot. It's a good high-hanging spiral. And going to be taken in at the 25 by Moore. And Eric Moore is hit and knocked down. It'll be 48 yards on the kick and -1 on the return. Eric Jackson for 12.
Earl Campbell. This running back punished offenders with a style that hardly befit his nickname, the Tyler Rose. Campbell was selected as the Southwestern Conference Running Back of the Year in each of his 4 college seasons. IBM, getting it done.
Earl Campbell, obviously a great one, and his statue stands outside the stadium. And let me correct one thing that the announcer said on that. It is not the Southwestern Conference. It was the Southwest Conference. The Southwestern Conference is the Southwestern Athletic Conference. So Tech, Harrell, all the time in the world, deep over the middle, one-handed grab. No, he could not bring it down, Amendola, but he was almost there. And let's take a look at those. Second down and 10 for Tech.
I think they're going to get Aaron Lewis in the neutral zone, and then a Texas Tech player moved, but call should go on Lewis. I didn't see anyone flinch unless someone flinched to take off. Make Lewis jump. No.
Number 95. Be a 5-yard penalty.
5 yards will be stepped off. It is against Aaron Lewis. Says check again with Jack Arute. Jack?
Yeah, I was very fortunate, and I know you were too, Ron, to get to know Earl Campbell. And when he went to the Houston Oilers, you know, back then, they didn't pay huge signing bonuses. But Earl Campbell and his family grew up without air conditioning in their home. Earl took his entire signing bonus and built a home for his mother with central air in it. Those were the good old days, weren't they?
Yep, they really were. And I remember sitting and talking with his mom as we waited for him to come from New York after being the #1 choice. That ball almost intercepted. That's the worst pass that Harrell has thrown today. Earl was an amazing guy, and you could just keep giving him the football and giving him the football, and he just got better with every carry. And the collision between him and a linebacker from L.A. named Robinson, and also the one with Jack Tatum, are two of the most memorable hits that go in my mind.
How many jerseys did he run out of?
I don't know.
How about
pairs of shoes?
Yeah, no kidding.
Third down, the line to make is the 39. Harrell got it complete, and boy, they're using Eric Morris today. It is a good thing Eric kept bringing that film up to the coaches from Shallowater, because he has been huge, and Killebrew, who made the tackle, is the player who's down for the Longhorns.
And we already showed it was Rashad Bobineau who came in, and I believe it was a friendly shot from Bobineau that may have hurt Killebrew. Bobineau was going in to finish it at the end, and it looked like he came in and his helmet may have hit that arm. It was Bobineau who flew in, and I believe hit that back right arm of Killebrew. And Killebrew, another senior on senior day with Tony Hill's already out. It's a shame that these young men, Killebrew looks like he's going to be okay, maybe just a bruise, but you just don't want to see too many of these seniors, the last time that they get to play at this great stadium, having to come off the field.
So Killebrew on the sideline. Would expect to see him coming back. Aaron Crawford, the tailback. They have a first down, and the ball rests at the Tech 48-yard line. 3:24 and counting left until the halftime. Harrell, 21 of 24, 198 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Texas shows blitz, and here they come, trying to make him rush a little bit, and that's Danny Amendola, who makes the tackle. And okay, Matt. Boy, big shocker going on right there. And while we were gone, we got flags all over the field, but Tech came to the line of scrimmage and ran a play very quickly. Well, still nothing has been done about the flags. There's still one down at around the 26-yard line.
Well, as deep as those are in the secondary and away from the play, I wonder if it's an illegal substitution or too many men on the field for Texas. Good job by Texas Tech catching Texas completely off guard, as Texas was looking at personnel trying to decide who should be on or off the field versus the offensive set, and they decided to go very fast. And I really like the decision Now if we freeze it and count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I think you get 12 for Texas. But I would think...
Illegal participation. 12 players, Texas. It'll be a 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. The game's a first down.
So it is a first down, and 15 yards stepped off against the Longhorns as the Red Raiders very wisely realized that Texas, in making their secondary changes, was a little slow in getting the new folks on the field.
Well, you'd think you'd be in nickel or dime most of the time against Texas Tech, an extra or 2 extra defensive backs, but that time Texas had their linebackers out that they didn't want, tried to switch it, and Mike Leach saw it, called a quick screen. Nice call.
Harrell, lots of time, and then he gets racked. And it is Orakpo doing the racking of the quarterback, and it's the first time that they have gotten to him. It's going to be a loss of about 9.
Well, and Rylan Reed, slow getting up, may have got tangled up in a pile. And Orakpo goes right by the right tackle, Marlon Wynn. And Orakpo he's a real difference maker. And unbelievably, Graham Harrell able to hold on to that ball. But Orakpo was a guy who had his knee injured in the second quarter of the first game of the season against Arkansas State. And they really missed him. He brings up the confidence level of everyone on this defense because of his ability. People know that he's going to be able to make some plays up front.
Lee Bryant, who is a former head coach in Division I and also the administrative assistant for Mack Brown, told me the first time we came here to do a ball game and practice on Thursday, I said, who does Orakpo remind you of? He said, that's easy. A guy named Taylor who wore number 56. I said, you got to be kidding. He said, he can be that good by the time he leaves here. Maybe he's right. Harrell right over the middle, wide open. That is Amendola. And Amendola was going to take it down to the 20-yard line after a gain of 20. Well, earlier we asked you the Aflac trivia question. Who was the last team to have the nation's leading passer and leading receiver in the same season? Well, here is the answer.
I went with Houston. BYU is a very good guess as well.
Louisiana Tech.
Yeah.
Tim Rattay and Troy Edwards. I'll be darned. Well, Texas Tech back in action, and the ball is going to be tipped and knocked away by Frank O'Cam. Or was it Melton who got it? It was Henry Melton. I beg your pardon. 37 rather than 97.
And Melton was on the ground and had to get back up to knock this down. Of course, Melton, the former running back, has a little bit of athletic ability. But that would have been a big play for Texas Tech had Henry Melton not bounced back up and knocked this ball down.
Well, that is a really good play. You're right. Crawford had blockers right there in front. They might have even scored on that one. 8th play of the drive. It started back at the 29-yard line. 1:33 to play until halftime. Texas by 11, and the Red Raiders trying to cut into that. Harrell gets the pass away, just throws it away. I'll tell you, Lamar Houston is the man who really caused a lot of problems. Near the conclusion of today's game, we'll select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team. Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund.
And with 2 incomplete passes in a row, and of course that's Texas Tech's offense, they've helped Texas now. Texas has not had to use any timeouts to save them. You don't expect Texas Tech to go into a ball control type of offense, but those 2 incompletes in a row have really helped Texas here with a minute 25 left.
One of the big differences is the front 4 has started to get some pressure on Harrell. 3rd down, the line to make is the 10-yard line. Quick pass, and the ball is tipped and incomplete. Crabtree, the intended receiver, and he couldn't hold on.
I think you kick it here. I think you want to get some points. Trelika has been so consistent for them, and he is coming on the field. You know, you always wonder with Mike Leach whether he's going to go for it, but 4th and 10, you can make it basically a touchdown game, although you've given a lot of time on the clock to Colt McCoy, who's been very good in the 2-minute hurry-up drill this season for Texas.
This is a 37-yard attempt. His longest is 51, so it should not be a problem as far as distance. Trelika. Amendola is the holder. Boy, yeah, he got plenty of distance on this one. That kick might have gone from 55 yards. Splits it, and our new score, 28-20. Longhorns lead is cut to 8.
The offenses were going to have their way a little bit.
Yeah.
That stolen possession is huge. If it were a defensive game, probably not that big of a deal, but a huge deal in a game like this.
Trelika with the kick, and this one is going to be returnable from the goal line by Cosby. Cosby's going to take it out to around the 28. Mark Mangino and the Kansas Jets
blew up against Nebraska, and it is unbelievable. We talk about retribution. In the 70s and 80s, in those decades, they didn't score an aggregate of more than 70 points. Amazing game last week.
Colt McCoy just throws this one away. Yeah, I was going to jokingly say on the air that probably Mark Mangino and the football staff might challenge Bill Self that if he doesn't score 76 points in their opening basketball game, that, you know, they're going to say, what a wimp.
The big question tonight will be, can Oklahoma State, and that's not good news. Yeah, that is not good news as Rylan Reed, the starting left tackle, goes off for Texas Tech. They're already down a couple of men as well, but for Kansas, the question will be, can Oklahoma State bounce back after that huge loss last week in the fourth quarter to Texas?
Cosby going to have the first down, broke the tackle, and now is out to the 47-yard line. McBath will make the tackle, and Texas Tech's got to be careful here. And let's check. So, Jack, the situation on first down, they throw it to Jermichael Finley, the tight end, and he will have a first down at the 43. John Saunders, Craig James, and Doug Flutie in our New York studio. Coming up on the Capital One halftime report. Put up scores and highlights, including the #1 team in the nation, Ohio State, at home against Illinois.
And Texas picking up right where they left off against Oklahoma State at the end of last game. This is very efficient.
30 seconds showing on the clock until halftime, and McCoy made a mistake right here.
Well, they should throw a flag on number 74, Adam Ulatowski. He assisted Colt McCoy.
Well, a timeout is called by Texas. Colt decided he was going to run the football, and the linebacker was just right there. Rather than being able to get rid of the football, now you only got 23 seconds showing on the clock, and timeouts left. See, Texas has got 3.
Watch McCoy run into Ulatowski, and then he pulls him forward. That is a penalty. Should have been called. It's hard to see, but you're right. And McCoy, listen, this is such a better runner than people give him credit for. That huge 3rd and 11 last week, if they wouldn't have converted against Oklahoma State, would have been a 58-yard field goal to try to win the game at Oklahoma State. And Ulatowski, one of the best offensive linemen for Texas, and for that 3rd down run by McCoy for 14 yards to pick up that first down really gave them the whole reason that Ryan Bailey was able to kick a 40-yarder to win it.
Obadiah checks into the backfield at tailback. Pass right over the middle, and again it's the tight end Jermichael Finley, and he will fight his way out of bounds and stopping the clock with 18 seconds left.
And with 2 timeouts, you still have the entire field open to you. You don't necessarily have to start going to the end zone. You don't necessarily have to throw it over to the sideline. And it was those 2 incomplete passes by Texas Tech. Of course, that's their offense that stopped the clock and saved these timeouts for Texas.
So the Longhorns with the first down, but the clock, the big thing, and it's a middle screen, and it's not going to go for much. Nate Jones gets on the ground. They need to call a timeout, which they do. 11 seconds now showing on the clock.
You're in that area where 2 plays may be a little much.
Could be.
But if you're only going to run one, it either has to be near the sideline or into the end zone. You're right at about where Ryan Bailey is probably comfortable kicking. His career long's 52, so you're inside of that. But 2 plays is going to be tough with 11 seconds, unless the first one is a quick out or something like that. But I would think maybe Texas will take 1 throw into the end zone. Maybe something, you can even throw to the middle of the field because you have that timeout, but if the guy starts running around, the clock could run out. I think you should just take the shot to the end zone.
And guys, in this direction that Texas is closing, if their kicker does come out, he will be kicking directly into a pretty good win.
Yeah, that's what I was about to mention, Jack, that definitely is is something that has to be a concern. Not second guessing, but I'm a little surprised that Jamal Charles didn't come out and be a part of the offense on this sequence. Pass, very long, intercepted Jamar Wall.
That was complete miscommunication between the roommates, Jordan Shipley and Colt McCoy.
Well,
not quite sure where McCoy was throwing that ball.
It doesn't make any sense to waste a situation like that, and Colt knows better, being now a veteran of the wars.
It was a stop and go by Shipley, and Shipley gave up on the route just a little bit, but that ball.
To where the ball was intercepted, which is a 2, but the play is under review.
Play is under review to see where they're going to spot the ball for Texas.
He's been engaged in a pretty heavy conversation with Mike Leach over here. They've discussed several options.
Therefore, it's a touchback.
Okay.
1st and 10 from the 20.
I don't know. How far can he throw it?
Well, he'd have to throw it to the end zone. He'd have to throw it about 85 yards, depending on his drop, Jack. I don't know if he has that kind of arm. He's got a decent arm.
Well, he can still keep running.
But if you're on the, how much difference does it make, though, from being on the 2? You're definitely going to take a knee. And here, I still think you probably do. But that was just a bit of a greedy throw by Colt McCoy. He threw it to the inside. They were in scoring position. The wind was definitely a factor on that field goal, but just not a good throw by a guy who's made a bunch of starts in his career.
The wind could have made a difference on the throw as well.
Yeah,
but still, it was not good decision making. Quick screen goes out to Amendola, and Amendola will take it out across the 35 to the 37, and we are at halftime. And